all AAS are built around the testosterone molecule. But we've also chemically tweaked it to either enhance or reduce certain properties. So like if we look at esters, for example, esters change how long the drug stays active. So things like testosterone propionate, which is a fast-acting one, testosterone anethanate, which is a lot slower. We've got methylation, which allows for oral administration and liver toxicity. We structurally alter the drug, which determines whether it aromatizes, which basically converts to estrogen, or whether it binds to the SHBG, or potentially even hits like the progesterone receptor. It's kind of like, it's like a Tinder bio, like all based on the same copy-paste format. But the experience is wildly different if you manage to go out on that day. Anyway, steroids aren't illegal, but they share one central mechanism, and that is that they bind to the AR, otherwise known as the androgen receptor, in the muscle tissue. From there, they promote gene transcription that ramps up protein synthesis, supports muscle hypertrophy, and shuts down muscle breakdown. Pretty fucking sweet. This is kind of where things get really sexy biologically. And that's on the next slide, which is how they work at a cellular level. Crazy stuff. So let me break this down for you. Actually, let's break it down even more. Let's break it down like you've got a degree in memes, but I don't know, like still want to sound smart at dinner or some shit like that? So like when a steroid molecule enters a cell or enters your body, usually it's going to enter the muscle cell. It's going to bind to the androgen receptor. That receptor at that point, the hormone complex then translocates to the cell's nucleus, and that's where it influences what we call gene transcription. The whole result that comes after this is going to be more muscle, and that's through building proteins, or more muscle building proteins, I guess, get made. More satellite cells activate, which is more nuclei, which is going to be more potential growth. We're going to get more myofibril volume, and on top of that, glucocorticoid inhibition, which essentially means you're going to break down less lean tissue. So we're going to retain a lot of the muscle we're putting on. Red blood cell count's going to go up, which is increases through erythropoietin, how the hell you pronounce that word, which means we're going to get better oxygen delivery, better endurance from that. IGF-1 levels can rise depending on the drug, and obviously the synergy, especially when used with growth hormone. We're going to see better nutrient partitioning, which essentially means like the more carbs go into glycogen and muscle, which is a great thing, because we don't want that shit going into fat. If that all sounds like a dream, don't worry. The nightmare is coming just around the corner, actually.
This is like my dream and my nightmare all at one time.
Because now you're a little bit more anabolic. You've also turned off your own body's natural testosterone production. So what the fuck are we going to do with that? Next slide, which goes into what actually happens to your hormones. So what happens to you once you inject exogenous testosterone into your body, or any sort of AAS? Once you inject that first shot, let's just say 200 milligrams of Testi a week, the hypothalamus detects elevated androgens, and it's going to shut down right after. We're going to shut down GnRH, we're going to look at LH going down, FSH going down, like no more signal to your testicles. Your balls have checked out like they're on fucking unpaid leave.
I will no longer, ever do any of those things.
They're not coming back. Simultaneously, testosterone is going to begin aromatizing into estradiol, E2, estrogen, depending on the compound as well. DHT may increase or potentially block 5-alpha pathways. Progestin and prolactin may also elevate, again, depending on the compound class, especially we'll find it with 19-NORs, bad thing by the way. And this is where we kind of start to see side effects emerge, right? And this is not because the steroids are inherently bad or evil or came out of someone's bathtub potentially, but because hormones operate on balance. And you literally just slammed your system with a brick made of milligrams.
What do? You get another brilliant idea.
And like, I don't know, like a sprinkle of hope and dreams. I used to dream a long time ago now, but anyway. Why do they freaking work so well for muscles? Let's take a bit of a zoom out for a second. Anabolic steroids give you greater capacity to recover, hands down, that's it. You can handle more volume, fantastic. Recover faster between sessions, We can stay more insulin sensitive longer, great thing. We can push into a surplus without blunting our appetite or crashing sleep. Unless you go like full trend goblin mode, probably not. And because hypertrophy is largely a function of training volume, or training volume times recovery times consistency, steroids let you do more of that, and way more often with less fatigue. Joints and tendons are a different story, but muscle-wise, they don't make you train harder though. They're just going to make you able to train harder more often and with better net results. Assuming you're not an idiot, which a few of you might be. So, but hey, you can always DM a coach, right? Haha. Side effects that come with this shit. So there's acute and chronic, and sometimes surprising ones, I guess. Like if we talk about what can go wrong, and not just the stuff that people freaking love to talk about and love to meme about, like, oh, bitch tits. Like if we look at the acute side of things, we've got acne, literally anywhere, water retention, elevated blood pressure, sleep disruption, especially on tren, halotestin, or like high test, mood validity, libido. Again, it can go from, I don't know, like mountain lion in like mating season to just like, please don't touch me, like literally within a week. And then we've got the chronic side of things, like cardiovascular damage, lower HDL, high LDL, increased arterial stiffness, LVH, kidney stress as well, like elevated hematocrit is going to mean thicker blood. We're going to have liver strain, especially from oral C17s. Your endocrine system is going to completely have a dysfunction. Like your body may not bounce back post-cycle, depending on how old you are and your unique anatomy, but And there's cognitive effects like flattened effect, depressive states, rebound post-cycles, impulsivity. Like gyno is fucking manageable. Dying of a heart attack in your 40s is not. And that's the kind of kicker as well. Like most of these are dose dependent and stack dependent, which essentially is going to bring us to the next part of things, which is how and why people manage these effects. Like if we talk about the enhanced reality, if you're using steroids, you're likely using other drugs to manage the side effects of the first ones, right? Estrogen's too high. You might reach for something like an AI, something like Arimidex. Ooh, everyone talks about that online. We'll get in that one in a second. Prolactin's too high. Maybe we'll take Kaba. Blood pressure's creeping, slap in some telmisartan, lipids crashing, dietary changes like red yeast, fish oil, lysine, sleep is shot to shit, melatonin, GABA, CPAP if needed. Like your cycle starts with 2 compounds and literally ends with like 8 drugs, a sleep study and a fucking therapist by the end of it. But just because you can medicate these things doesn't mean you should. That's fucking backwards, right? Like, too many users treat side effects like a problem to be patched, when often they are a signal to redesign the stack entirely, right? Like maybe the dose is too high. Maybe your androgen to estrogen ratio is really far skewed, so we're going to get more estrogenic effects. Maybe you don't tolerate that 19 nor you're pinning like candy. Like if your sleep, libido, and digestion all tank after week 4 or whenever the hell you're in your cycle, don't throw more meds to fix it. Fix the fucking cycle.
No, actually, it's not me. It is you.
And this is critical. This is where coaching, this is where blood work, and actually knowing what your fucking markers are makes a difference. And a huge difference at that, right? Like, and literally straight into the next one. Like the cost of being enhanced is never just one drug, right? If we stay honest with ourselves here, the deeper you go into enhancement, the more the deeper you get. Like the more it stops being about a steroid and the more it starts becoming, I guess like, I don't know, like a system that requires more and more monitoring. Like the side effects we just spoke about, those aren't rare. They're pretty common. In fact, you can say they're guaranteed, but they're just delayed. And they're delayed to everyone uniquely in their own anatomy, right? And that's what makes this tricky, because for the first few weeks, especially if it's like you're going into a cycle, you're gonna feel fucking invincible. Your pumps are insane, recovery is flawless, like sex drive is probably through the roof, until it's not. But like under the freaking hood, like we're seeing changes in blood viscosity, we're seeing changes in cardiac remodeling, we're seeing changes in neurotransmitter shifts, like people literally lose intelligence on long cycles, right? Like even changes to your sleep architecture. Like these don't show up immediately. They accumulate and they accumulate over time. And the more compounds you add, the more potential issues you are then going to create. So what do? Well, you either start chasing every single issue and try and solve it with yet another drug, which has its own risks, or we reassess the stack design and take the smarter route. Remember, guys, like you don't fix bad stack design with more pills. You fix it by not being a moron with a PayPal account and a vial that you purchased from, I don't know, like Bulgaria? Fuck. Like, and that's gonna just kind of like cycle us to the big truth, right? Most issues can be solved by adjusting the dose, by changing the compound selection and the frequency we pick, like not by medicating harder and adding more drugs. Like, for example, if your estrogen's too high, maybe it's not time for an AI, like we don't want to crash our estrogen. Maybe it's time to lower the dose. Maybe that ratio is off. Maybe we need a DHT. Like if your prolactin is creeping up. Again, maybe that 19 nor was a terrible idea because you're prone to issues there. 19 nor, let's just say trend, for example, right? Like the stack design should be based on your tolerability, and not your wish list and not what some fucking guy in the gym corner told you to take. Like, and none of this as well is going to replace lifestyle. Like if your sleep is garbage, your effects will be worse. If your diet is trash, your recovery and bloods are gonna reflect that and it's gonna amplify that effect. If your training is overkill or garbage, the drugs won't save you. They'll just mask the problems while your body breaks underneath. Steroids don't make you healthy. They do, however, give you the power to do more damage to yourself faster and grow more. Unless, like, you know, you're responsible, then you might not cause as much damage. So, if we were to wrap it up here, closing thoughts. What anabolic steroids actually are? They're tools, really. Like they're really fucking powerful tools. Like they make training more productive, they make recovery faster, they make your physique more responsive, but again, only if everything else is in check. They do not replace intelligent programming. It's not going to replace or override sort of poor recovery habits. Like it's not going to compensate for half-assed dieting either. What it's going to do is just amplify everything, the good and the bad. And that's the trade-off. It's your life. Well, I guess if your life is chaos, steroids are just going to give you more of that. It's just going to make you more you. So if your life is shit, it's just going to be more shit. If your life is structured and consistent, they can enhance what you've built. They don't build it for you. So on that, now that we've kind of broken down what they are, what they do, how they work to some extent, and how, you know, to think about them moving forward, I guess the next question after this would be, should you take them? We're going to unpack that in a different video because that's